Ever wish you could have a robot handle those basic questions at your booth while you're busy landing a big client?
Right.
Turns out
Yeah.
someone already did this with AI.
Yeah.
And we've got the inside scoop for you today, even if you don't speak Portuguese.
That's right. We're going to be looking at a really clever use of AI, a custom-built chatbot
Okay.
for a trade show in Brazil. And the cool part is the lessons here apply, whether you're selling software or handmade soap.
Okay, so paint the picture for us. What kind of information did we have to work with for this deep dive?
So we had access to audio from the chatbot's creator, walking through their entire process.
Nice.
They were this huge industry event, think giant machines processing wood,
Whoa.
and their client needed a way to stand out.
And I'm guessing just yelling louder than a lumberjack wasn't an option.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where the chatbot comes in.
Right.
Imagine this. You're a potential customer, walking the floor, and you've got a simple question. Do you wait for a busy sales rep? Or do you get your answer instantly from a friendly chatbot?
All right, that's smart. But this wasn't just any chatbot, right? Our source went the extra mile to build this thing from the ground up.
Absolutely. They started with a mind map, figuring out everything the bot needed to know, super organized. Then they got creative, combining different AI tools like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, even something called Chatbase.
Chatbase. Now that one's new to me.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
It's a platform that's really good at building those smooth conversational flows that you want in a chatbot. But the takeaway here is they didn't just stick to one tool. They used the best bits of each, like a tech-savvy chef using different spices.
Okay, so they've got the ingredients. But how do you actually teach a chatbot about wood processing, let alone a specific company?
That's where things get really interesting. They fed the AI very specific instructions. Think of them like recipes called prompts. And by comparing different prompts, they figured out how to get the most helpful and accurate responses.
So it's like training a really, really smart intern. You don't just say, go do work. You give clear directions to get the results you need.
Exactly. And this is where a lot of people miss the boat with AI. It's not magic, you've got to guide it. For example, they used a tool called Perplexity to pull in detailed info about the trade show itself.
Perplexity, that rings a bell, but remind me what that one does.
It's like having a superpowered research assistant. Instead of just giving you a bunch of links, it summarizes information from reliable sources. So the chatbot could actually hold a conversation about the event itself, not just the company's products.
Okay, now that is slick. It's like giving your chatbot a crash course on small talk before the big party.
Exactly. And they didn't stop there. They uploaded all sorts of company-specific stuff, brochures, product specs, even competitor comparisons. Remember, AI is only as good as the information you feed it.
Content is king, as they say. But this is where I always get tripped up. How do you actually build the chatbot? Is it all code and complicated stuff?
You'd be surprised. That's where Chatbase really shines.
Yeah.
They made it very user-friendly, kind of like building a website with drag-and-drop tools. They could upload all those documents and files, and the AI basically read them to be ready for questions.
Okay, so the bot's got its library card. But what about those super specific questions customers always ask? Did they have to program every single answer?
No, that would be a headache, right? But they used a clever trick. They actually got the AI to help generate potential questions and answers.
Wait, the AI was working on the AI. That feels very meta.
It's the beauty of this technology.
Yeah.
They could feed it some basic info like product descriptions, and the AI would spit out, based on this, people might ask about X, Y, and Z. It's like having an assistant anticipate what people will want to know.
That's incredible. So it's not just automating tasks. It's almost like collaborating with the AI to create something even better.
Exactly. Of course, they still reviewed everything to make sure it was on brand and accurate, but think of the time saved.
Okay, so they've built this brainy chatbot, they've fed it info, trained it on questions, but how did they actually make sure it was good at its job, which was getting people to book a demo?
They got scientific about it. They ran AI-powered simulations, which is like a virtual trade show floor.
Hold on, they built a whole digital world just to test out this chatbot. That seems intense.
Intense, but incredibly effective. Imagine this, a virtual version of the trade show with digital visitors who have different interests and questions. They could test different versions of the chatbot script, those instructions we talked about, to see which one was best at grabbing attention and ultimately getting people to book a demo.
So it's like A/B testing, but for conversations. Which version converted the most virtual visitors into hot leads?
You guessed it. The version with the most detailed and specific instructions for the AI. It turns out The more guidance you give it, the more natural and engaging the chatbot becomes.
That makes sense. You don't want a chatbot that's too robotic or rambles on. You want it to get to the point and show value quickly.
Precisely. And you know what else they discovered? This is a good one.
All right, spill the tea. What kind of aha moment came out of these AI simulations?
Personalization. That was key.
Okay.
Instead of just spitting out generic answers, they taught it to tailor its message based on the visitor's industry or interests.
Ooh, smart. Nobody wants to feel like they're talking to a robot reading a script, so how did they pull that off?
Remember those files they uploaded?
Yeah.
The brochures, the competitor comparisons?
Yeah.
They tagged everything with relevant keywords. So, if a visitor mentioned they were in furniture manufacturing, boom, the chatbot could pull up targeted information about how the company's wood processing solutions applied to their specific needs.
That's brilliant. It's like the chatbot had an intuition for what each person wanted to hear. So what's the big takeaway for our listener, especially if they're thinking, okay, that's cool for a trade show, but what about my business?
The beauty is this wasn't just about building a chatbot. It's about understanding how to leverage AI to communicate more effectively. Think about the information you provide to customers, the questions they ask. Could you be using AI to personalize those interactions, provide quicker answers, and ultimately strengthen those relationships?
It's like having an army of super efficient assistants, all trained on your expertise, ready to engage with people 24/7.
Exactly. And that's scratching the surface of what AI can do. As this technology evolves, we're going to see even more creative applications, from personalized marketing campaigns to hyper-efficient customer service.
So the real question is, how can you, dear listener, start thinking about AI not as some futuristic fantasy, but as a practical tool to level up what you're already doing?
Precisely. And if a wood processing company can use it to stand out at a crowded trade show, just imagine the possibilities for your area of expertise.
Great point. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI-powered chatbots. Hopefully you feel inspired, informed, and maybe even a little bit ready to embrace the robot revolution.